Hi guys, in today's video we're going to be having a little look at the drainage job and how we are progressing on at it. We're going to be having a look at how we get on at the bit of spring ploughing that has to be done for the spring crop this year. And we're going to check out how we're getting on at the fertiliser spreader as we continue to do a bit of a refurbish on it. Let's get going.
I just realized I've built walls a mile high to protect my heart, but now I'm all alone, stuck on the inside. The heart doesn't need a castle, it needs a bridge. Been too scared that I'd unravel. Brick by brick, I built these walls. Now I know that I am strong. Just watch me tear them down. I'm gonna tear them down. If it couldn't break your heart, is it really love? If it can't tear you apart, is it really love? Just watch me march towards the battle. I'm gonna tear down this castle. I'm gonna tear down this castle. I'm gonna tear down this castle. Watch me march. If it couldn't break your heart, is it really love? If it can't tear you apart, is it really love? If it couldn't break your heart, is it really love? If it can't tear you apart, is it really love? I criticized myself for trusting lies. I know I can't hide, 'cause then I'd be alone, stuck on the inside. The heart doesn't need a castle, it needs a bridge. Been too scared that I'd unravel. Brick by brick, I built these walls. Now I know that I'm enough. Just watch me tear them down. I'm gonna tear them down. If it couldn't break your heart, is it really love? If it can't tear you apart, is it really love? Just watch me march towards the battle. I'm gonna tear down this castle. I'm gonna tear down this castle. I'm gonna tear down this castle. Watch me march. If it couldn't break your heart, is it really love? If it can't tear you apart, is it really love? If it couldn't break your heart, is it really love? If it can't tear you apart, is it really love?
Okay, so voiceover on this part of the video. So this is the drainage job which has been going on for, well, close on, it's probably going on about 12 months in total. Or it won't be long until it is. So yeah, basically wet spot in the bottom of this field which we needed to address. And in the process of doing that addressing, we discovered why it was wet. A couple of springs here. This is one of them, which you can see runs all the time. Was running down and wetting a whole area, probably in the size of about 1.5 acres at the bottom of the field, maybe even a bit more than 1.5 acres. So yeah, you can see we left a track here for the water to flow down. It's spring water, clear water, flows down, and we're just letting it down and it's getting away at the river. And what we're going to have to do with that is we are going to have to stone it, and that will help to dry up this whole area of the field. So basically, for anyone who hasn't seen any of the updates on this job that I done one last year, we had a low-lying area in the field, and we had a higher hilly part here, basically where the soil is. So we pulled topsoil back off it. We took a little bit of the sharpest end of the hill out of it, put it down into where the low-lying area was back behind us, and just raised that up by not that much, a couple of foot, just to kind of take it up to the same level as the rest of the field. And yeah, basically just going to put all the topsoil back on it now again. So you can see there was a large enough area stripped because we didn't want we wanted the field to have a similar gradient in it all, and didn't want to do much with the landscape either at the same time. We wanted to keep it pretty much similar to what it was. So yeah, that's kind of why there's a large area stripped, and a wee bit extra work I suppose to do it that way, but we wanted to do a good job on the field itself. So yeah, basically this was the worst area here we're looking at. There was some old trees, rotten trees that had fell down on it. There was just, the soil was sour, I suppose is the word you'd use to describe it. And yeah, it was really good for nothing. So doing this job on it, it should bring it back into some kind of production that we'll be able to use it and cut it and graze it. And we are actually, as part of the acres scheme, we are going to plant 100 trees in the bottom of this field along the river. So we're going to fence it. We'll put 100 trees down, and then we'll put another fence then in front of that again to keep any animals away from the trees. So yeah, it's for anyone who's not in Ireland, the acre scheme is a new environmental scheme that is running, and we have a few different projects going on with that, but that is one of them. We wanted to plant some trees to help with the environment, and there was a couple, as I mentioned, a couple of old rotten trees in it anyway, and they'd fallen down, so we want to do something then to replace those and to just kind of do your bit, which is definitely no harm at all. So yeah, you can see the topsoil. Well, they're well on with the topsoil. It's actually it's Dad who's driving the tractor and dump trailer, and my uncle then who's driving the digger, and they're getting on well with it. The remaining topsoil is just back now behind the digger, so you can kind of see it here, and that is going to be all drawn down. I think there's about maybe they done this day at it here that I was videoing, and bit the next day as well, I think. Or was it just that day? Can't remember. But they're well on with it anyway. I think another bit of a day should go well on putting the rest of the topsoil back. Lovely day. I just did a little bit of a fly up with the drone just to take some footage looking down at the field itself. And I think I do a little bit of a swing round here, just looking back over the other side of the countryside. It's a lovely clear day and ideal for a bit of footage like that. Okay, so on from one bit of soil work to another. We've got the plough on, and we've got a little bit of spring crop to put in. So there's just over 10 acres in this field that we are going to put the spring crop on, and we had intended to put this in winter barley last year, but the weather completely went against us, and it just meant we couldn't get it done. So plan is now to get it ploughed. We are having some very cold weather at the moment. It was like -1 last night, due to be even colder this evening, and yeah, we're going to try and get it ploughed. We'll let it sit. There's supposed to actually be snow tomorrow, and a bit of sleet then, and snow over the next few days over the weekend. So look, it'll not matter. We'll get it ploughed. We're going to let it sit. We'll get it whenever it dries up. Then the next time we'll try and get it sowed. You know, it's only 10 acres. Look at that stone. See it there back behind the plough. There's 2 of them that I've hit. I actually hit one back before that, and I topped the plough. The other way the bodies of the plough have a hydraulic trip release. Well, it tripped it out, and whenever we it caught, it twisted around sideways. I thought it broke something on the plough. So had to let all the pressure off the plough, let the bodies lie down. I went to spring them back up into position. Didn't work. It was still jamming. So I pressured it up slightly, turned it over and released the pressure again so it fell back the other way. And when I pressured it up and powered it up again with the oil, it popped back into position. Nothing was broke. Never happened before, but it was an absolutely huge stone, and it's just whatever way when it caught, it twisted the body round slightly and it just meant it couldn't get back in. So I was quite happy now to see that it was okay. But yeah, when you're ploughing or doing anything in soil, you have wear and you have things that'll catch and things that'll break. There's no real way around it, so it's part of the joys of it. But yeah, but as I was saying, yeah, we hadn't intended to put this into winter barley last year. Weather completely went against us. It was a struggle. This field here is wet in a couple of places in it, and I did start to plough it, had to abandon ploughing it because it was just too wet. A couple of the other fields here, there's 4 fields in this plot of land, and some of the other fields done exactly the same thing. They were a little bit on the wet side. We did get them ploughed. A couple of the wet spots we knew, alright, it's not going to grow there, but in the springtime we'll address it. We put a bit of spring barley in it. We thought there might be 2 or 3 places. After we finished sowing the ground, it turned wet for, I don't know, I'd say about 3 weeks. It rained for 3 weeks, and there was water lying in the ground in places that I never seen water lying in it before. So there's one field, the field here in front of me, you can see it here, it's winter wheat. Right the whole way over to, there's an entrance here, is okay, but there's like about an acre to the right of the entrance that is going to have to be resown. We're going to have to do a bit of ripping in it, and yeah, we'll have to resow that. Same in the other field. The other field, there's 23 or 24 acres in it, and I'd say there's 4 acres that needs to be redone. So completely, just weather was an absolute, you know what I'm going to say. So yeah, just one of them things, you live and you learn. We should have had this sowed a wee bit earlier, but we had potatoes in some of it, and the potatoes had to be drew out through the potatoes in the back side of it. The potatoes had to be taken out through the front fields when they were going, so we couldn't sow them until the potatoes was out. The potatoes were a little bit later than what we expected them to be out, and meant that we weren't able to get it in when we would have liked to. So this year, when we get it cut, the plan will be in early September. We'll get it ploughed. If the weather's good, we'll get it ploughed, and around mid-September, if ground conditions is good, straight in and just get it sown, and we'll address any issues that you'd have with the likes of flies, aphids or anything like that, and weeds. We can do a pre-emergent spray on it. So that's kind of the plan. So a little bit of drone footage now of the ploughing.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. see the horizon, turn us to thousands, and we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands, and on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays, and on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
Peggy 18.
We're not even finished and it's starting to snow. There's a few flakes there. But look at this is the reason why I want to get this. This is the reason why I want to get this ploughed. You see here now, see the way there's water lying in this? Probably not going to get the headlands ploughed there before this snow wall comes on. But get the legs of this opened up so they can just drain away. That's all I want to get done at the minute. There is a couple of other wee spots over the other side of the field. They're all ploughed and it has drained out of that already. So it's just a matter of trying to have it that when the next spell of dry weather comes, we're able to get in and get it sowed fairly easily. So yeah. Alright, so we finished up at the ploughing yesterday. We didn't get it all finished, but there's still a little bit of headlands left to do. So yeah, tractor and plough is here. We'll get it finished up. I was hoping maybe to get it finished this morning, but got up this morning, it was raining. It had actually maybe have snowed a little bit during the night, but yeah, we'll just leave it, let it sit. There's going to be some rain over the next 3 or 4 days, I think. So we're not going to be sowing it anytime soon, but at least the worst of the wet spots is all ploughed and it's opened up, we can drain away. Today's job is we're going to try and address a few rusted spots on the fertilizer on the inside that I want to take care of. So there's like in this place here where the grid sits down against on each side has to be done. There's a wee bit there. I'll just give it a bit of a touch all around the top with the bolts for holding on the top parts. They have to be cleaned, and yeah, a few bits like that. I'm going to just maybe clean the 3 bits of rust here on the grid as well. I'll clean it and just tidy it up, and yeah, just not take that long. An hour we'll go around and clean it up and prepare it, and we'll get a bit of primer on it, let it sit then, and then later on then we'll get some paint on it. We have the heater going to dry the spreader, because the spreader was parked outside, but it's also bitterly cold, so it's grand to have a wee bit of heat just as you're doing this job. The top half of it, we have a new top part coming. We didn't go for the Amazon single leaves because of the expense of them. So we're getting a box made up for it that is the same size as what was on it, but it's all in the one piece, which I think would be a much better job. It's actually made up and all. It's going to get painted and primered, so I should have it back hopefully over the weekend, and we get it fitted onto it and get the cover onto it then. The price difference in the 2 bits, I suppose it'll cost something around 500 or 600, I'd say, when it's all done for the box to put on it, whereas the 3 single pieces was 500 a piece. So it'll work out about half or less than half by the time it's all done. So yeah, it wasn't, and the box is going to be a better job. You know, it's going to, there's less places for the fertilizer to stick and to gather up. It's all in the one piece. It'll be easier for washing down. It'll be a better job. So that's where we went with it. All right, we'll get the little grinder out. We're going to take some of the bits of rust off, and yeah, we'll see how it turns out. how it is going. Just taking all the rust off right over the heel. I've done here to the corner, and then the same on this side. This isn't rust. It's only just there was like a sticky adhesive between the panels that was on it. So yeah, we've done this bit here, and I've started to do a couple of the wee bits in here as well. Cleaned a few of those down. There is a few bits that's going to be hard to get at, and I'll do them with a bit of sandpaper just to take the edge off them. But yeah, it'll take, say, about an hour or so. I'll get stuck into it now, we'll get it done, and we'll get a bit of primer on it. Alright, so we've been busy. Anywhere that we've had any rust has been all cleaned down, prepped and primered. So even there was a couple of other little bits along here that you could hardly even see, just right in the crevices here. I cleaned it all down, took it back to the steel and put a bit of primer on it. Little specks here and there. Along here where the grid sits, in both places, it kind of was just rubbing through a little bit, and it marked, just marked enough that you could see little bits of rust coming on it. So rather than leave them there, take them off, clean them up, and get them painted. I don't care if it's a little bit fresher looking in those places. It's better than rust. So yeah, all the bits has been done. We're ready to go now with the paint. We start getting a little bit of paint applied. I'm just going to brush it on. I've paint here that's suitable for brushing on, and hopefully it's a good enough match colour wise. We'll know in a minute. Alright, so I've been working away at this for probably about an hour and a half in total, and we've made some good progress with it. Paint colour is a very good match, is the first thing I'd say. Now you can see a little bit, well, you see if we're in here, you might be able to see there is a little bit of a discrepancy with it, but in fairness, it's going to be expected. You know, the spreader is 10 years old, so there's going to be a certain amount of fading on the spreader, and you're putting on fresh paint, it's going to be a little bit brighter, a little bit shinier. So it's kind of the way that you expect it to be. But overall, I'm very, very happy now with how it's turned out. Now there is a few places that I will give a second coat to. It's still a little bit on the wet side, but like the likes of there, there's a few places over here I can see that just needs a little bit more paint on it. But overall, for a first coat, I'm quite happy with it. The other thing I want to do too is I want to give the grid here a little coat of paint too, and it's not going to take very much paint to actually do that, because you're just going to be putting a wee bit on the mesh itself. But to do that, it needs to be dry. I'm going to put a sheet underneath it so there's no splashing the paint down below, and I can just go through it really quickly with a small brush, and yeah, it'll freshen that up too. But overall, yeah, very, very happy with how it's turning out. Yeah, look, there's not actually that much more left to do on it. Once I have that painted, I'll take it outside and I'll give the whole thing a quick hose down inside again. And I want to open the two hatches here at the bottom where the fertilizer goes out. I want to open those, but I have to connect the control box to it and the hydraulics, because the first part of it is hydraulic, you open it, and the second part then you have to actually tell it on the control box to open the second part of it. So there's two hatches that you have to open on each side. That's why there's a little bit of debris in there. I washed it all down and it all has laid in the bottom. So I want to wash all that out, and when I've that washed out and it's all clean and dry again, I'm then going to polish the whole inside of it. Just smear the polish on, polish wax, polish it off, and it should leave, then the fertilizer will run nice and smooth right down on it. So yeah, and that'll be it, ready for the box. The box itself, I think all we'd have to do when we're fitting it is put like a bead of Tech 7 right round on the top of it here. Just sit it on, and I think there's probably there's about 12 bolts to go on it. So it's pretty easy to put on, and yeah, it'll be ready to go. So that's the fertilizer for now. Hopefully during the week now we'll get it finished off, get the box on it. So if I do, I'll get an update on it, obviously, when that is done. But yeah, we want to be ready to go. When the weather now picks up, it's to be wet for the early part of this week, and if it dries up later in the week, we want to be ready to go with it, with the fertilizer, when the weather and conditions suit. So yeah, we should be, but I'll have an update on the spreader whenever we have it finished. And yeah, I suppose that's it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have, don't forget to hit the sub button, to leave a like in the video. If you can, likes, subs, comments, all these things help the channel. So if you can do any of those things, I'm very grateful. Comment in the comment section below if you have any questions or comments or anything like that to make. I do read them all. I try to reply to some of them as well. I can't reply to them all, but I try to reply to as many as I can. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Have a good weekend. See you during the week.